lost, dude. Good afternoon. This is Miranda Tomlinson with Westminster News. Here are today's headlines. London gets dubbed as the acid attack capital for targeting young men. Are we actually going live in 15 seconds? Good afternoon. This is Miranda Tomlinson with Westminster News. Here are today's headlines. London gets dubbed as the acid attack capital for targeting young men. This is engagement week at the university, but what exactly does that mean? And finally, we have a sports update from Ramon Osman about the Champions League with AS Roma and Chelsea. But first, 8 are dead after a suspected terror attack in New York City. 11 more were injured as a man drove a rental truck down a bike path in Manhattan. The driver, a 29-year-old Uzbekistani immigrant, was allegedly inspired by the so-called Islamic State, according to a letter found in or near the vehicle. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio described the incident as a cowardly act of terror. The attack was similar to the one that took place near the Palace of Westminster in March earlier this year. 6 were killed and 49 more were injured when a man drove a car into pedestrians on Westminster Bridge. U.S. President Donald Trump sent out a series of tweets distancing himself from the charges against his former aide, George Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos pleaded guilty to perjury over contact with Russia during last year's presidential campaign. Trump dismissed Papadopoulos as a low-level volunteer who has already been proven to be a liar. Trump's campaign manager, Paul Manafort, was also charged with a number of serious federal crimes related to collusion with Russia. London has now been dubbed the acid capital of the world, and this dangerous trend seems to be targeting young men. Lisa LaRue will tell us more.
Acid attacks in London are dramatically on the rise, forcing more and more people to have to go to the hospital and pay out-of-pocket fees. Police and lawmakers are trying to find a way to make these dangerous products harder and harder to access. According to Police Chief Mr. Lawrence, these products can simply be bought at any store, which is why these attacks are on the rise. Criminals and gang members are going away from knife attacks and gun violence to these acid attacks because they are so easily to access. Something that makes London unique is that these acid attacks tend to be carried out on young men. Around the world, acid attacks, especially in Southeast Asia, are carried out by males against women. So why is it that in London, these attacks are carried out against young men? Something else that makes London unique is that most of these attacks are carried out in East London. In 2016, 454 acid attacks were carried out, compared to only 166 in 2014, 2 years prior. Half of these attacks, both years, were carried out in East London, an area of London where young professionals and some of the most deprived live hand in hand. Mayor Sadiq Khan has said that these acid attacks and making them harder to buy is one of his priorities for his term. This has been Lisa LaRue with Westminster News.
With most courses at the university on break, the Student Union is hosting Engagement Week in an effort to keep students involved while out of class. However, our cameras weren't able to find anyone responsible for keeping students engaged. We were told by the Student Union reception that no one from SU was on campus today and were unable to receive comment from the dean's office. Still, Jasmine Chow spoke to some students about how they felt about Engagement Week.
The Student Engagement Week is an activity held by the Student Union in Westminster, together with the Creative Enterprise Center. It provides more opportunities for students to attend workshops and learn things that may not be taught inside their own classrooms.
The students will have all these opportunities to develop skills, even if, for example, I'm a journalism student, but if I wanted to learn some new photography skills, then I could go to the photography workshops. And I can, as for the speakers coming in to talk about their field, of career. I can receive like insider tips from the industries.
The Student Engagement Week provides activity for everyone, from interactive experiments and creative challenges to engaging technology demonstrations and in-depth talks across all areas of the school, including graphics, animation, music, media, and fine art.
Yeah, it's great. It's very useful for the students. I love the tutorials and all the opportunities that they give you to meet new people and get new skills and develop your skills.
This year, many students in different disciplines choose their own interest and do their favorite workshops, which helps them to be more competent in the future.
Yeah, actually, we just had a tutorial on black and white developing, and it's been really useful and interesting.
Yeah.
And it's sort of old-fashioned, but it's everything helps, and it's been really enriching, let's say.
Yeah, and we will do the printing this afternoon. So yeah, it's really cool.
This is Jasmine Zhao, Westminster News.
The bigger issue with Engagement Week seems to be the lack of actual engagement. This is the first year that this event has run, and many students we talked to were unaware of either its purpose or its existence entirely. The event's coordinator indicated that the week was a response to the wishes of students, but no one was able to clearly explain the origin, purpose, or even funding of the event. Former labor activist Bex Bailey has revealed that she was raped by a senior party member at an official event in 2011. Bailey, a former parliamentary aide, told BBC Radio 4 that she was discouraged from reporting the attack. This does not appear to be an isolated incident, as more reports of sexual assault and harassment in Parliament have been publicized. Theresa May's deputy, Damian Green, is also being investigated after allegations that he made inappropriate advances toward Kate Maltby, a Conservative Party writer. Netflix has put the final season of its original series, House of Cards, on indefinite hold. Netflix planned to run the show for 6 seasons, but it appears it will halt after 5. The news comes after Kevin Spacey, the show's lead actor, was hit with serious allegations of sexual misconduct. 2 more men have come forward with stories after the initial report of Spacey's advances against actor Andrew Rapp, who was then just 14 years old. In Harrow, almost 100 people have been employed to build new houses designed for families and students. Alicia Facchini reports.
Here in Harrow, a new regeneration project has employed almost 100 residents to build new houses. The project is called Harrow Square and is located on College Road. Almost 300 houses will be built at the side of the old post office building behind me. The construction works will provide jobs for almost 100 local people, bringing big benefits to local economy. The project was designed both for students and for families, offering studios as well as 1, 2 or 3 bedroom houses. The area is full of parks and green areas and is located just 15 minutes walk from Westminster University Harrow campus. They hope the work will finish in 2018 and the complex will start running in 2019.
I'm going to change the word.
This has been Alicia Facchini from Westminster News.
London is a diverse city, and Westminster is regarded as one of the most diverse universities in the UK. However, The Guardian reported that people in the UK tend to hang out with people from the same race. Today, Spencer Zhang interviews students about this topic.
The Guardian recently reported that people from the same race tend to hang out together and are less likely to make friends from different cultural backgrounds. Although the University of Westminster is regarded as one of the most international schools in the UK, students do have different perspectives about this topic.
But I think most of people, including me, when they go to a new environment, they will find the people from their own country, or they will become friends.
surprisingly for me, there weren't actually a lot of people that were from England that are doing the course. It's actually about 50-50 the amount of people that have come from the rest of the world to study the course, and I think that is amazing. And I've become really, really good friends with a lot of people that have come from like Turkey or Italy or Colombia, like totally different places that I just never really would have had that at school. So I think like I can see where the article is coming from, but I wouldn't say myself that I've had that experience.
I personally like to hang out with people from different cultures because I get to learn about where they come from, what differences and similarities we have, and I think it makes you more knowledgeable of the world.
I mean, in our course, I've noticed that all the Italians, they stay together.
Yeah.
And most of the foreign kids, they stay together as well. But, I mean, it's a nice mix.
We tried a lot to make international friends, and I know because a lot of foreigners in our university. It is different from some other universities because most of UK university in London have a lot of Chinese people, and we tried to, and we ask people to go out with us, but they also think that they cannot take part in arts.
Actually, it is difficult to talk about diversity issue in the university. One Chinese girl who is not willing to be filmed said her friend faced discrimination in her module. Nobody is willing to sit with her in the class. Another female student also said it's a common and natural thing that people from the same race and the same country tend to hang out with each other. There's nothing we can do about it. It has been Xu Yunzhang from Westminster News.
English actress Cush Jumbo accused British television and film industry on cutting down opportunities for actors of color when auditioning for roles in the UK. She further claimed brain drain as a result of this country pulling the plug on actors of color. Jumbo, who attended Lewisham, directed her criticism at the culture of the drama schools, accusing them of making her ashamed of both her race and her working class. November is Vegan Month, and in the UK, there's a plethora of events lined up. Alice Fakini has the report.
Today is the World Vegan Day. Because of this, there are many events going on all over the UK and in London to highlight this growing lifestyle. Being vegan means avoiding all animal products for ethical reasons. According to The Telegraph, 500,000 people over the age of 15 have adopted this diet, 5 times more than 10 years ago. We asked some students at the University of Westminster whether they are vegan or not, and what they think of this diet.
I'm not vegan, and I'm not vegetarian. I'm a meat eater, but I don't eat red meat because I just feel it's got no benefits nutritionally. I mean, and it's horrible. It's like bloody, and and I think, oh God, that was alive. And my dad tended to scar us by like, what's for dinner, Dad? He's like, Bambi's mum. And it's just, yeah, it kind of took a turn for the worse. Well, better, I guess.
I'm 100% vegan. I've been dabbling in veganism for about a year, but I went fully vegan at the beginning of university. And it was mainly because of the way animals are treated, that I don't believe in, and the amount of chemicals that are put in our foods today anyway. So I want a very natural and very organic-based lifestyle.
I'm not vegan or vegetarian, but I don't eat meat that much. I only eat chicken or beef when I go out. But usually just chicken because it's cheaper, and I don't have much money because I'm a student.
I became vegetarian last year in August. It's mainly because I just didn't like the idea of eating meat anymore, because I love animals. I've done animal management before, and I really value their life and stuff, and I just don't feel right eating them anymore.
I'm not vegan, but I went to a festival in the summer and I ate vegan food for 5 days, and I absolutely loved it. But when I got home and got a bit lazy, went back to eat vegan. But I do really like vegetarian food, and I think it's really important for your body not to eat meat all the time.
This day is meant to highlight the benefits being a vegan can have and negative effects meat consumption could have on the environment, like water consumption and carbon emissions. This has been Alice Facchini from Westminster News.
Peru's Miss Universe pageant unexpectedly turned into a protest against gender violence. According to the BBC, the pageant contestants chose to recite statistics that highlighted violence against women in their country when asked for their measurements. One contestant was quoted saying that every 10 minutes, a girl dies in Peru from sexual exploitation. Out of the 150 participants, 5 women said they were victims of sexual assaults, including rape. The contestants plan to lead a march in the Peruvian capital of Lima later this month. One of Britain's most popular shows had its finale last night. The Great British Bake Off concluded its 8th series with one contestant taking home the top prize. We won't give you any spoilers, but we can say that ratings speared up to 7.3 million viewers last night. So if you don't know the results, you may be the only one. Approximately 2 million young Londoners watched the finale, making it the biggest series in the 16 to 34 age group on any UK channel this year, according to Channel 4. On the eve of Remembrance Day, Friday, November 10th, England's national football team hoped to wear the famous red symbol, the poppy, in their match against Germany. But fans are outraged that England will have to ask FIFA first for permission. FIFA's laws were changed last month from an outright ban on political symbols to an agreement that the home side may wear certain emblems if the opposing team and competition organizers agree to it. The thrill of the Champions League continued last night with AS Roma beating Chelsea to go top of Group C. There are other games coming up, and our reporter, Ramon Osman, joins us with the latest happenings. I'm here with Ramon Osman today. So, what's been going on in the Premier League and the Champions League? What can you tell us?
Well, Miranda, very interesting pairings last night. Chelsea were overly beaten in Italy against AS Roma. Massive performance from AS Roma to go top of Group C, like you rightfully said. It means that Chelsea are in danger of not getting top spot in the Champions League. So that's a bit of bad news for Chelsea fans out there, if I should put it in that way.
And what happened in other results?
Well, in other results, also PSG were massively too strong for Anderlecht. They won by 5-0. And the world's most expensive player, as we already know, Neymar, contributed a part in that particular one. Very, very impressive performance from the likes of Neymar and all that.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Thank you, Ramon, for being here.
Thank you also.
That's all the news for today. This is Miranda Tomlinson for Westminster News.